That was the Samsung Galaxy S8. So yeah, the Samsung Galaxy S8 has been heavily leaked over the past week. So the design of the S8, we've had a ton of leaks, even one coming directly from Samsung itself, which I know is quite weird. But yeah, we even had some design leaks coming from Samsung directly. So hey everyone, welcome to Design of Tech. I'm Daniel, and welcome to my Leaks and Rumors series. And in this episode, I want to show you and I want to discuss all the final Samsung Galaxy S8 design details. Enjoy. Okay, so the biggest and also the main Samsung Galaxy S8 design leak actually came from Samsung itself. So last week, Samsung released a video in which they basically promoted their AMOLED display technology. And in that video, Samsung showed how vibrant an AMOLED panel is when compared to conventional LCD panels, how they don't require a backlight because it's an OLED panel, and with an OLED panel, the pixels provide both the color and the brightness, so you don't actually need a backlight like you do in conventional LCD displays. So that's why they can be so thin, and they also consume less energy than conventional LCD displays. So yeah, this was basically the video. This was a promo video for their AMOLED display technology. Now at the end of the video, they actually showed this. So they actually showed a concept phone. So a concept phone with almost no bezels at all, no home button at all, and a really clean and futuristic design overall. Now when I first saw this video, I didn't give it too much attention because it was definitely a concept used by Samsung for demonstration purposes only. But then just 2 days after, Samsung has released a second video also promoting their AMOLED display technology, but in this video they also used the exact same concept as in the first one. However, it was shown pretty much all the time. So yeah, in that second video, this concept was basically shown by Samsung everywhere. Now don't get me wrong, that's not a Samsung Galaxy S8. However, it's really close to the Samsung Galaxy S8. Now that's because Samsung wants with this concept to demonstrate the best way to use an AMOLED panel. So apparently according to Samsung, the best way to use an AMOLED display is in a phone with almost no bezels at all. So a phone with almost no bezels at all, 94% screen to body ratio, and also no home button on the front, and as far as I can tell, there are no capacitive buttons on the front either. So this is definitely one really futuristic looking phone. Okay, so 2 concept videos from Samsung showing this really futuristic looking phone using their latest AMOLED display technology. Now, what happened next? Well, Samsung actually released a third video also showing that concept once again for the final time. However, this time in this third video, at the end of the video when this person was looking really closely to the phone's display, the phone, especially in the last shot, looked a lot more real than in the previous 2 videos in which the phone was definitely a concept. Now, I'm not saying that this is the Samsung Galaxy S8 because Samsung wouldn't do such a thing, leak their own phones and their own ads before release. What I'm saying is that this is basically what Samsung wants their future phones and basically all smartphones using an AMOLED display to look like. And since their main client for their AMOLED display is Samsung itself, well, this is most likely how one of their future smartphones is going to look like. Probably the S8. Now these were all the Samsung Galaxy S8 design leaks coming from Samsung itself. Now we actually had a couple of more leaks coming from supply sources in China, coming from Samsung's own employees in some cases, and even coming from case manufacturers. So here's those leaks. So starting off with the case leaks first, these are actually one of the most accurate leaks we can get. And that's because, well, case manufacturers, they do need to know the exact dimensions of a phone ahead of the release, since they do need to make those cases by the time the phone launches. So Ghostek has leaked the atomic case for the Samsung Galaxy S8. So this is how it looks. And probably the first thing that you've noticed is the Samsung Galaxy S8's front design. So interesting enough, as you can see, it actually looks almost identical to that concept that you've seen in those Samsung Galaxy AMOLED display videos that I showed you before. In fact, the only major difference is the Samsung logo. So if you remove the Samsung logo, it's almost the same thing. Again, we can see that really clean, almost no bezel design. You can also see the edges that now look even more curved than the ones on the S7 Edge. Now, interesting enough, there's no dual camera module on the back as previously rumored. There's only a single camera module, and more about the camera and the specs soon. So now we have 2 very different sources, Samsung and Ghostek, pointing towards pretty much the same design for the Samsung Galaxy S8. But yeah, those are not the only sources. So moving on to those presumed factory leaked images of the S8, we have a few coming from a few manufacturing plants in China. So this is how it looks. This was one of the first leaked images of the S8, and at first I did believe this to be fake. However, as you can see, it actually looks really similar to the design of that concept in Samsung's videos, and also the leaks in Ghostek's cases. So almost no bezels, no home buttons on the front, not even capacitive buttons, at least not from what I can tell. So when I first saw this, I was definitely convinced that it was fake. However, after seeing the concepts from Samsung's videos and after seeing the leaks from the Ghost X cases, it doesn't look that fake anymore. So there's a lot of resemblance between those 3 leaks. So this is most likely how the Samsung Galaxy S8 is going to look like, and this might just be a leaked Samsung Galaxy S8 straight from the factory. Now there are a few differences between Samsung's concept, the Ghost X cases, and this image that I want to mention. So first, as you can see, the bottom bezel, and especially the top one, they do look quite a bit larger than in Samsung and Ghost X concepts. Now one possibility for those differences, at least in my opinion, would be that the last image would be a Samsung Galaxy S8, and the other two, Samsung's concept and the Ghost X cases, that would be a Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. So as I mentioned in my previous Samsung Galaxy S8 leaks and rumors episodes, we are expecting to see 2 different models of the S8. So the regular S8, which would come with a 5.5 to 5.7 inches display, that's a pretty big improvement from the 5.1 inch that we had on the Samsung Galaxy S7, and then the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, which would actually come with a 6.2 inches display. Yeah, massive. Now I just want to mention a few more details regarding the S8 and the S8 Plus. So just this week, we actually got a pretty big leak showing the exact dimensions of the S8 and the S8 Plus. So apparently GSM Arena, they got the exact dimensions from an undisclosed case maker, and according to Sam Mobile, this is how the S8 and the S8 Plus would compare to the Samsung Galaxy S7 and the S7 Edge. So just take a look at the S8 versus S7, almost all the bezels are gone on the S8, and the screen would basically go up from 5.1 inches to 5.7, so in a device that's essentially almost the same size, the same form factor as the S7 from last year. That's amazing. The S8 does appear to be about 3mm wider than the S7, however, besides this, no big difference at all. Now taking a look at the S8 Plus versus the S7 Edge, now we can see an even bigger difference. So whoa, just take a look at how large the bezels are on the S7 Edge. And keep in mind that the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge was actually the phone with one of the thinnest bezels in 2016. And now the S8 Plus seems to have almost the same height, so it's actually taller by just 2mm, however it's wider by 6mm. However, the S8 Plus seems to be packing a massive 6.2 inches display, coming from 5.5 on the S7 Edge and 5.7 on the Note 7. Now, some of you might be wondering what's going to happen with the home button, because the home button is, well, it's gone. Well, the entire display of the S8 would be a 3D touch display, just like we have on the iPhone 6s and the iPhone 7, so it will be capable of feeling different levels of pressure. But probably the most interesting thing about a home button is actually the fingerprint reader. So the fingerprint reader would actually be included into the display assembly. So Samsung actually has a couple of patents on this, and by the way, in case you want to know more about that fingerprint reader included into the display panel and how the home button would actually work, check out my full leaks and rumors episode on a Samsung Galaxy S8. So in that video I also talk about the camera, I also talk about all the special features that the S8 will come with, release date, price, basically everything you need to know. In this video I'm mostly focusing on the design. And finally, also in terms of the design of the S8, a few more leaks. So GSM Arena actually got their hands on a few concepts made by that unnamed case manufacturer, and this is how those concepts look. And again, all of those case manufacturers, they supposedly do have the exact dimensions of the S8, they do need this ahead of launch, and as you can see, they do have exactly the same design style as we've seen in Samsung's ad, as we've seen in the case leaks from Ghost X, and they also look pretty much identical to those dimension leaks that I was talking about before. So having said all this is most likely how the Samsung Galaxy S8 is going to look like. So let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about the Samsung Galaxy S8's design? I mean, for me personally, the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge was one of the best designed phones ever. I mean, I simply love this phone. Just look at how awesome and how futuristic it looks, and keep in mind that the S8 is going to remove almost all of those top and bottom bezels. Now the Xiaomi Mi Mix, it also looks pretty awesome. That phone is actually even more bezel-less than the Samsung Galaxy S8 is going to be. So overall, I'm personally really excited for the design of the S8. Now, I do have a few concerns, however, regarding this design. So just like with the S7 Edge, gripability and also accidental touches are most likely going to be a pretty big issue. So when I first got my S7 Edge, it did have a ton of issues recognizes accidental touches, especially on the edges. So then it got a couple of updates, quite a lot of updates that fixed this, and now it's a lot better. However, I would say that 5 out of 10 accidental touches are not recognized. In the end, accidental touches not being recognized is just a software issue, so it's not hardware related, which means that it can be fixed in future software updates. However, Samsung hasn't really completely fixed the S7 Edge, so I don't really think they will be fixing the S8 now. Who knows, hopefully. Now, probably my biggest concern when it comes to the S8's design is going to be dropping it because, well, the S7 Edge was one of the slipperiest phones I've ever used because, well, you have almost no border, almost no rim to hold it by. And as you can see from the S8's concept and from the S8's leaked casings, the edge display seems to be even more pronounced than on the S7 Edge, which basically means that the border would be actually moved a bit towards the back. So it would be even more difficult to hold than the S7 Edge. Not even to mention that this case, the Ghost Tag case, doesn't even look like it's actually protecting the edges at all. But yeah, let me know what do you guys think about all this, about the S8, about the S8 Plus, about those really thin edges, about dropping it. And speaking of dropping it, it will mostly come with a Gorilla Glass 5, just like the Note 7 came with. And according to Corning, which is the manufacturer for Gorilla Glass 5 can actually withstand a drop from up to 1.6 meters on concrete, and apparently it has an 80% chance of surviving that drop, which is really, really impressive. So even though the S8 has much more thinner bezels than the S7, dropping it shouldn't be that big of a damage when compared to the S7, since it will come with Gorilla Glass 5 versus Gorilla Glass 4 that the S7 came with. But yeah, there we go. This was everything in terms of the design of the Samsung Galaxy S8. So do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you love those really thin bezels? Both the S8 and the S8 Plus will come with an edge display, so this year we won't have any non-edge version of the S8. Would that be an issue for you or not? If you have enjoyed this video and if you want to see more Leaks and Rumors episodes like this one, feel free to subscribe, and also feel free to check out my previous episodes on the Note 8. I also did an episode on the Note 8 and what's going to happen with the Note 8. And my main Samsung Galaxy S8 Leaks and Rumors video, that 28-minute long video. In that one I discuss in depth everything you need to know about the camera, the specs, release date, price, special features, pretty much everything. Also, don't forget to enable notifications on my channel. There's quite a lot of issues with the subscription feed, so if you don't want to miss out on my next video, simply tap the bell icon next to my channel and you'll be notified as soon as I upload a brand new epic video. Other than that, if you have enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like to let me know, and also feel free to follow me on Twitter at ZoneOfTech. You can ask me any questions regarding the S8, the iPhone 8, or any tech-related questions there as well. Let me know in the comments if you're epic enough to make it to the end of this video. But other than that, this was pretty much it. So thank you all for watching until the end. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. ZoneOfTech, signing out. Cheers.